إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد أما بعد. If there was any revelation that would put fear into the hearts of true believers and make them tremble and make them at the depth of the souls question whether they are deserving of Jannah, worthy of Jannah, or whether even they will enter into Jannah without going through some sort of accountability and some sort of wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That revelation is the famous hadith in Sahih Muslim, where the Messenger of Allah said, where the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من كبر. لا يدخل الجنة. This individual will not enter into Jannah. This individual will not enter into Jannah. Meaning this individual is a Muslim and he or she is looking forward to enter into Jannah. He or she is looking forward to enter into Jannah and also doing the deeds externally and also some internally, doing the deeds of Jannah. But the Messenger of Allah is negating that. The door is closed. لا يدخل الجنة. He or she will not, this individual will not enter into Jannah. Why not? من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من كبر. The one who has in its heart, in their hearts, they have in their heart مثقال ذرة, weight of ذرة. Dharra is the smallest ant you can see with the naked eye. Smallest of ant. Also dharra is called the rays of the sun. The sun in the morning has rays, it's weightless. The rays of the sun is weightless. That weight, that level of weight, the amount of weight, if one has kibr in their heart, and here as Allah is affirming, kibr means you know you've got kibr, you are aware of it, but you proactively, consciously settle it in your heart. You work with it, you go along with it. You lay it a path for it. You make your life central part of your life around it, even if it's very small. But your central attitude, your character, your personality, your behavior, your action and reaction is centered around kibr. Kibr embeds illegitimate pride and justified pride. Embeds arrogance, embeds stubbornness, embeds belittling people and humiliating them while they are not deserving of it. Embeds all of these attitudes and behaviors and characters, negative characters, that all human beings have traits of these negative characteristics. This is just one disease that if we have a tiny ounce of it, the whole kingdom, the whole universe, the whole world of Jannah with all of its levels is closed to us. The doors, the gates are closed. There are many other diseases like this. Small ounce of it will prevent us from entering to Jannah until we are cleansed and purified from these major diseases. So, the mindset to have in order for you to then to proactively cleanse them is the mindset as Ibrahim al-Islam says, إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. Except the one who comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a heart which is pure, strong, pure, inclusive, enveloping everyone. And the way to do that is to include every single Muslim who will enter into Jannah, to include them in your hearts, to make it inclusive to your heart. Every Muslim that you know and that you do not know, you've met and you have not met, past, present and future, you include them in your heart. Your heart has to be bigger than Jannah in of itself, because it will include every single individual in this life of human beings and jinns and angels and creations that will be created in Jannah to live with you. Those who do not have spouses, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will create spouses in Jannah for you. They'll be created in Jannah. All of this creation, your heart has to include them, be inclusive of them. Your heart has to be bigger than Jannah. Your heart has to be bigger than Jannah in of itself. Yeah, your heart has to be above Jannah also, because your heart also will be speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will see Him Jalla wa ala subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it has to be big. It has to be wide. It has to be deep. It has to be bigger than this whole entire world and everything in it, from the deep oceans to the vast space. Your heart has to be bigger than, wider than, and deeper than this whole existence that you can see. And you cannot do it, and I cannot do it simply by doing deeds which are time limited, like salah, like zakat, like hajj, like umrah. These are limited time period of ibadah. Your heart has to work 24 hours in order for it to become bigger than the existence that we're living in. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has legislated, a ibadah, by which if you connect with it, you bond with it, you hold on to it, you fight your nafs, your ego, your pride, your arrogance, your stubbornness, you fight it with it and through it, your heart will get wider, deeper, stronger, bigger, loftier, to become more content, more calm, more collected. It will go within their DNA of the realm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's subtle creation by which He does things. It will work with the DNA of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sunnah and His will and His choices and His executions and His decrees. And then your heart will beat with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's legislations, the universal ones and the revealed ones. And that's DNA that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed, because He controls and He facilitates and He works with the whole entire existence. It had to be something from Him Jalla wa ala subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why He revealed the revelations. There was no need for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reveal His specific revelation. He could just instruct us, the prophets, do this, do that. This is the boundary, this is the, just like the angels. He could have instructed them. And leave it like that, write the instructions down. No, but He revealed a revelation which is not revealed to the angels, which did not reveal to even the jinns. He revealed to us human beings an entire revelation by which you can purify yourself, cleanse yourself, by which you can build yourself, develop yourself, discipline yourself, make yourself punctual. You can become loftier, deeper and greater person within yourself, for yourself, and then for the coming life. And most importantly, you can make your heart pure like the angels, loftier like the angels. And it can become an inclusive heart of the whole entire creation. If you can imagine the times you do wudu, 5 times wudu, if you do, some of us do more than 5 times wudu. How do you feel? Just by doing the wudu, you feel light, you feel calm, you feel collected, you feel cleansed, you feel purified. It's just the outer body is clean, internally you feel all of those feelings of joy, delight, calmness, purity. Just by doing wudu, because it was legislated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's a ibadah from yourself. You feel nur. But what has created? What about in the kalam of Allah? Allah calls it nur. What about then if you recite it near enough 24 hours? I know some people recite it even in the sleep, because they're so used to reciting. I've witnessed in my life. Even in the sleep they're reciting the Quran. They're waking up, they're reciting the Quran. You do 1 khatam, how will you feel? You do 2 khatam, how will you feel? You do 3 khatam, how will you feel? Sahabah used to do the khatam like Uthman bin Affan. He used to do khatam every single day, 3 times a day. He had a wird from Fajr to Dhuhr, from Dhuhr to Isha, and from Isha to Tahajjud. He had a wird. He used to finish the khatam 3 times a day. Uthman bin Affan radiyallahu anhu. And many of the Sahaba like that. The Sahaba as a whole, they became superhuman beings. They had multiple talents with various skills. They became superhuman beings. It was ultimately because they had this bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, individual, specific, special bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the means was His kalam, the Quran. They felt super powerful, individually and collectively. They felt super powerful individually and collectively. So much so that they had, in the battlefields, they would have wounds on them. Blood would be gushing from them, from the backside, from the rear side, from the stomach. And they'll be reciting the Quran. Urwa, one of the tabi'i, he had an infection in his leg. So the people around him, the doctors, they said, we have to cut this leg off, otherwise, death will come onto you. He said, khalas, no problem. When I stand in salah and I'm reciting and I go into the mood of reciting, I'm in recitation, cut my leg off. The narrator, they said, when we cut his leg off, he was continuing his salah. It's only after he finished his salah, he fainted. Why? Because he was in that bond with the Quran. The Messenger ﷺ himself, he used to recite the Quran so much so in salah, outside salah, that he used to stop eating and drinking. He used to stop eating and drinking. So that his wives and the Sahabah, they said, oh, aren't you going to have a break to eat and drink? The Messenger ﷺ said, my Rabb feeds me. It was not physical food he was eating in salah. The feeding was the Quran. The Quran was feeding him. Imagine you finish, I'll just give you a number. Imagine you finish Quran. Let me not give you something out of your ordinary. In the year, throughout the year, you finish the Quran 50 times. 50 times. Khatam, just khatam. From beginning to end. How do you think your internal being will be, your internal framework will be? How will it be? How will your patience be? How will your calmness be? How will your contentment be? How will it be? How will you be? And is 50 times impossible? It's not. Forget 50 times. Let's do 12 times. Once a month you do the khatam. 12 times khatam. Come Ramadan, you do 3 times. 15 times. 15 times you finish the Quran every single year. How will you be? Just think that for a moment. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا وإمامنا وقائدنا وقدوتنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد. Now we all can recite the Quran. If you cannot, learn. In Arqam we have free courses. All our courses are free. And we emphasize learning the Quran and reciting the Quran properly. You know the amazing thing about us creation? Allah created us with a uniqueness. In everything. In everything Allah has created you is very unique. There will be no other you after you. And there was no you before you. You are Allah's creation, you're only one and only. Because Allah is only also unique and one. All of us have a distinguished voice. Every one of us have a distinguished voice. Your mother, your father can tell this is so and so just by listening to your voice. The ones who are your fathers, your child, your baby, as soon as they are born, as soon as they hear your voice, if either your adhan or your wife's voice, the baby becomes quiet. Because they've been hearing the voice when they're in the womb for the last 6 months, for example. Every one of us has a distinguished voice. That distinguished voice, yes, is for us to recognize one another and for us to be unique. But the greatest reason for us human beings to have this distinguished voice from one another is so that we are able to recite to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala His kalam in His assembly of recitation, where He Himself will be reciting the kalam of Allah, where He will be reciting His kalam. That's the meaning of the hadith where Rasulullah says, Ahlullahi wa khassatuhu. The people of Quran are His special people. Why is the special people? When everyone will enter into Jannah, they will have the kingdom, Allah will call the people of the Quran to assembly only for them. And He will close the door, He will close the gates, and everyone else will not be able to enter. It will be only the people of Quran. And then He will recite at the end, after each one of those people have recited the Quran. Everyone will say to Allah, Ya Rabbi, we want you to recite. Ya Rabbi, we want you to recite. Ya Rabbi, we want you to recite. And then eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will recite. The voices we have ultimately is for you to beautify your recitation and cleanse yourself through your recitation, not the recitation of the Imams. That's the greatest asset you have, is by your recitation you settle your iman, you elevate your status and rank with the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you bond with Him through your recitation. This month of Ramadan, focus on the Quran. Focus on it. Give your whole heart to it. Give your entire mind to it. And you'll see it will become alive. It will not remain letters anymore, verses anymore, pages anymore, juz, ajza anymore. It will become alive. It will envelope you within. It will realm you, encircle you like tawaf. It will be a magnet. It will elevate you from the within. It will elevate you from the ground. You'll feel elevated. You'll feel angels around you, protecting you, guiding you, inspiring you, motivating you, picking you up, leading you. Bond with this Quran, and you'll see you'll become an entire different species. You'll become the Muslim that you want to be. You will become the individual that you want to be. Most important, you will become the best of you. Allahumma a'izz al-Muslimin. Allahumma a'izz al-Muslimin. Allahumma a'izz al-Muslimin. Allahumma rabbana ighfir lana wa li ikhwanina alladhina sabaquna bil iman. ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. اللهم ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته وأقم الصلاة.